Look at the picture. See the skull. Visible Frankenstein controls. The Brain Thoughts broadcasting radio. The Frankenstein earphone radio. The latest new skull reforming to contain all Frankenstein controls.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Frankenstein Control, the Tosh.0 of comedy podcasts, where we just summarize the work of other content creators for you in an irreverent manner, while maintaining enough audacity to claim that we're somehow essential to the equation.
We are. We're more essential than the content creators. Trust me on this one.
Hey, Tosh.0 didn't work on Salem's Lot.
Well, that's true. I don't know.
Or Creek Out a Heater. Or Original Work.
Welcome to Frankenstein Control.
So we also offer, occasionally, scathing and well-written political satire.
Oh.
Like this. Hi, I'm Donald J. Trump, the president. B-Rye does a really good impression of me. Did you know that shaving your ass hair makes your farts sound different? The new Postmaster General is a giant hole in the basement of one of my country clubs, and we're just going to dump all the mail ballots right into it before I sign a new law that makes it illegal to look in the hole. What are you going to do about it? I used to take Eric and Don Jr. to Home Depot and buy out the whole store's stock of shovels and pitchforks and axes and shit so they could fling them randomly into the parking lot with complete disregard for people or vehicles. Nobody ever stopped us. Vote for me. Also, it was really cool when that fat kid shot those protesters the other day.
No, stop.
Anyways, it's good to have you with us.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, we live in a hell world, ladies and gentlemen, but the only respite that you have is us at Frankenstein Control. We're the only ones who can heal your wounds. We lick them like a dog, and apparently that makes it better, but, like, fuck if I'm letting a dog anywhere near my wounds. Fuck that.
For all I know,
I don't care about what kind of magic juju your mom's friend on Facebook said that has. I don't give a shit.
Your Healing Crystals Facebook group.
I'll pour vodka on it like a real man.
Speaking of things you see on Facebook, well, you know, it is true that reality is stranger than fiction these days, or should I say they're one and the same.
Yes.
And there's no better proof of that at all than the actual targeted ad that I myself received in my social media feed just last night.
Tell us about it, B-Rye.
I'm not making this up. This is absolutely real. And instead,
so this isn't a bit? This is one of your bits?
This is not a bit. Instead of the goofy sponsor like I was going to do, I'm just going to say that we're brought to you tonight by Wayfair, because that was what the ad was for.
Okay.
And this was real. I'm not making this up. I know I say that all the time and then say something that I very obviously made up. But I'm not never. I'm not doing that this time. This was real.
Okay, so this is 100% juice for 100% kids.
Exactly.
Get going. Let's hear it.
Wayfair, if you're not familiar with them, is an online furniture retailer.
I did not know that, so thank you.
They sell a bunch of Lissa gets some of our like mid-century modern furniture that she picks out for our home. She's on that mid-century kick, which I approve of.
Like 50s.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like the atomic style.
Yeah, I was about to say like Fallout style furniture.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Oh.
That's exactly her/our aesthetic.
Just less radioactive.
Yes. Anyhow, I when I got married, I started receiving targeted ads, not only for stuff that was like relevant to my interests, but I received constant targeted ads for stuff Lissa likes.
Yes.
And I got a targeted ad for Wayfair, and she's on there all the time looking at stuff. And this particular ad, I guess, like, the algorithm mixed us both in. I really want to know the thought process, so to speak, behind why the algorithm suggested both of these items to me. It's like, buy now from Wayfair, click here. And the first was like this round shelving unit that Lissa actually has been looking at recently and showed me to get my thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. And it's fine, you know, she might order that, that's cool.
It's a shelf.
And the second ad was for a large spool of razor wire.
What? What?
Yes.
What?
Like the shit that surrounds prison yards. And I could just buy that on Wayfair and have it shipped to my house. And Wayfair thought that I would be very interested to know that.
Were you?
Yes, I was.
See, they know what they're talking about.
Wayfair's pretty good.
I don't want to be the razor wire guy in the neighborhood.
Why not?
You know, that's a good question.
What's stopping you? What's holding you back from living your life the way you want to? Surrounded by razor wire.
Which I can buy for a very affordable rate per yard on Wayfair.com.
How much was it per yard?
I didn't look.
Oh, come on.
I didn't click on it because I was like, I seriously did have one of those things where I was like, am I dreaming right now? Like, is this a thing that I made up?
You dissociated.
I was like, this is too real. This is too weird to be real. This is like something that we would make up on the podcast. And that's goofy as shit that they're offering to sell me razor wire. Yeah. So, it's like, they certainly got us pegged. Mid-century shelving.
Well, now that you said
wire.
that, you're going to see strap-ons on Wayfair.
Oh
now.
God, please no.
You're gonna look like my Wish ads on Facebook, where it's just like, "Hey, time to be horny now." Like, no, stop it.
You look at 1 9-foot horsecock on Bad Dragon. Next thing you know, Wish.com, they coming at you with all kinds of things.
I no longer wish to be horny. I wish to be happy. Winch.
Silence winch. Oh, yes. But, wow. Wowie, wow. Wayfair offering us razor wire.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder how effective razor wire really is. Like, is it more effective or less effective than barbed wire?
I just now thought of the bit that was on King of the Hill where Dale orders some razor wire and he's like, I will now be surrounding my compound with all of this, like with premium grade razor wire. And he's like, look, Bill, look what this razor wire will do to your arm. And he has like a fucking wrapped like salami. And it's like, and so he like hits it with the razor wire and it doesn't do anything because it's like not sharp enough to cut through all the packaging on the fucking salami.
Yeah. So
he like hits it a couple times. He's like, imagine if this was your arm and it does nothing. And he's like, Bill, give me your arm.
Yeah, because like whenever I see razor wire, like I look really close at the blades and I'm like, those don't look sharp, but I mean they have to be, right?
I think if you were climbing over it and it was all hooking up on you,
yeah,
that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of a snare trap than anything.
Yeah.
A snare. Drum. Welcome to Frankenstein Control, everybody. Long has it been since you tuned in last time, but welcome. I am your number one razor wire salesman for Wayfair, Taylor Russell. To my right is Ada Ship.
I'm Ada, and I'm the unwilling producer of all razor wire in America. It comes out of my mouth and is extremely painful. Oh God, please stop.
And in front of me, as always, is B-Rye.
I'm B-Rye, and I inadvertently signed up for a box service where I now have a subscription to razor wire, and they mail it to me 1 yard a month.
Why must you cause me pain?
You're just supplying the demand.
No, I don't want to.
They don't even pay her.
Well, that's just sad.
Yeah.
Part of the government.
Blackmail's a hell of a thing.
This is shifting gears rapidly. But we've been, Lissa and I have been watching a lot of Korra, the Avatar Korra.
Oh, I thought you were just going on Quora.com.
Isn't there like some rodent called a Quora?
No, it's like Yahoo Answers.
Oh. When I was a kid...
Quokka.
But for people who speak
Quokka.
even...
It's something like that.
Yeah,
I think
see,
it's an animal.
Ada likes animals like me, so I knew she'd remember what the actual animal
I like
was.
critters.
Quora is like Yahoo Answers, but for people who speak even worse English than Yahoo Answers.
So when I was a kid, and I mean we're talking like really little, like 6 or 7, Ask Jeeves was like, still like the premier search engine at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that it was just a search engine, and then you could literally put in any keyword and it would just summon whatever you were looking for. I thought you literally had to ask it like a perfectly worded question in order for it to give you what you were looking for. So I would always type full sentences into it.
I mean, I still do sometimes, like into Google.
If I'm looking for instructions for something specific.
Yeah. Like
if
sometimes
I want a how-to.
I don't know. It's more just like how much of a rush I'm in.
Anyway, going back to Korra. So we made it to season 2, and I'm going to avoid spoilers here as much as I can, so this is safe to listen to if you haven't yet enjoyed
Season
both.
doo-doo.
If you haven't enjoyed both, Last Airbender and Korra, the sequel series. Mm-hmm. There is a character, so It is not spoilery to say, just in description of the worlds that they take place in, that Korra, of course, takes place after the first Avatar series.
Yeah.
And the society in Korra is a little bit more industrialized and like steampunky, so machines start showing up. Mm-hmm. And it's also sort of a parody of, not necessarily a parody, but like an allegory to like the Roaring Twenties and the sort of the early days of industrialists and robber barons and stuff like that. And there is a character who's an industrialist.
And since it's a kid show, you can almost say that prohibition is also in effect, because they won't show them drinking an alcohol, even though many of the kids will just turn around and see their dad on the couch watching football, drinking a beer, and he throws a liquor bottle at them when their teen does bad, and he gets mad, and he beats mommy, and it's scary. Whoa! Had a huge flashback there. Hey, B-Right, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Surprisingly, I don't think you are, but we'll revisit that later. Anyhow, there is a industrialist named Hiroshi Sato, and he is the father of one of the Avatar's friends, Asami Sato, who is like, because she's the daughter of, a wealthy industrialist, she also has access to lots of money, so she bankrolls a lot of their adventures. And she also is briefly a love interest of one of the main characters, Mako, named after the voice actor from the first series.
Yeah.
But I did see a drawing like way back when Korra first premiered, of Mako drawn in the style of Dan Backslide, saying that, "Oh, my dear Asami Sato, how I love her."
Father's money.
No, but anyhow, Hiroshi Sato develops a lot of like machines for the series, like cars and I think eventually planes. And there's a scene where a bunch of planes are attacking a bunch of battleships. And Hiroshi, as the inventor of the planes, is like leading the assault to the planes. And I was like, great optics there, Nickelodeon, having the guy with the Japanese name leading a plane attack on a bunch of battleships. You really thought that one through.
Oh, man. They really should have, they should have named him like Tora or something. That would have been better, don't you think? God. And then he could repeat his name over and over again before he attacked. And then Matt Damon could die in the mud.
Well, that's always good.
I forget. Was Matt Damon the one in fucking Pearl Harbor? I can't remember.
I don't remember. I feel like that's right.
Sounds right.
That sounds right. We're just going to say that's
This
right.
episode of Frankenstein Control was directed by Michael Bay.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, so I was laughing at that because I amused myself with it and evidently failed to amuse either of the two of you. So, what do you got to talk about?
Well, I got lost in my own sauce, and Ada's just grumpy and wants to shut down everyone's jokes, so...
Did I shut down anything?
No, you're fine.
I was just kind of confused by that. It was a lot of ramp up. And I'm not sure where it went. Well, I didn't really get it.
Well, there was like Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And I was like, great job having a character with a Japanese name attack a bunch of
I got that. What are you talking about with Matt Damon?
Because Matt Damon was in the Pearl Harbor movie.
Yeah, he was in Pearl Harbor.
If he's not, we're just saying that he is, because I don't remember enough about that movie.
He might not be. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything much of it anymore if this happened with it.
I can't remember shit, because every day is just a horrible nightmare. And Chadwick Boseman died. That's sad.
Who's Chadwick Boseman?
The Black Panther actor.
Oh.
It happened last week, because we always talk about the latest up-to-date things.
I'm not good with names. Help. It is really sad, though. Like, out of fucking nowhere. I had no idea. Next thing you know, poof, he's out like a candle. You see, kids, that's why you need to live life to the fullest. Mm-hmm. You need to get out there. If you got someone that you like, give them a call. It's not worth not taking that chance, even if you're scared. Go ahead, call them right now. Except here's the thing. The pandemic's happening, and if you didn't have someone in your life already, you're doomed to a reality of loneliness, and you'll fucking die alone in your room, and everyone will abandon you, and... I'm sorry, I was in a dark place for a second there. How you guys doing?
You've been in a dark place, and that's the third segue you've gone into.
And only one of them is true. Text 1, 2, or 3 to FrankensteinControl.net.
Vote on Taylor's trauma.
Vote on my...
Oh, no!
Which of these 3 horrible childhood situations or / currently unfolding situations
actually happened? Dial 7, 8, 9, 10.
If you answered all of them,
if you enter all of them, I will come to your home and I will put razor wire around your house because I found a really good deal on Wish. Wayfair.
If you get it right, I'll come to your home and cry.
and then it'll be your problem.
Well, now you have to deal with a blubbering mess.
And it's double blubbering because I'm fat too. It's funny.
So you mentioned the ongoing situation with Ravir as we discuss it.
Indeed.
I've seen a lot of people with they're primarily boomers. We can go ahead and say that. And so, some of them, there's a bunch of T-shirts now that I see people wearing, and sometimes the spirit in which they are worn. And this is not necessarily just T-shirts. It's also like Facebook posts or signs or bumper stickers or whatever the fuck you want. But it's stuff like downplaying fear or like don't be afraid, and like you'll see like an old lady with a shirt that says like faith over fear right now or something like that, and it's like borderline it's not borderline obnoxious at all. It's very obnoxious, but the spirit that you're getting, that people are saying, some of them mean it well. It's just like they're a little bit obtuse optics wise, and some are just straight up flagrantly shitty, like the deniers of what's going on. And I have a T-shirt that's actually my favorite T-shirt, and it is a Dune reference with a bunch of knives that says "Fear is the mind killer." And like, I don't want to wear it out in public now for being for fear, ironically enough,
of being a disease denier,
of being mistaken for that kind of thing. I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's a Dune reference. I'm not a shitheel.
I like talking about dudes who have giant worms in the desert and glowy eyes,
and personal shielding and stab each other.
I always like that about Dune.
The personal shielding?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's a great excuse for a future setting to have sword fights.
It really was. It worked great.
Yep.
Works better than Star Wars. Here's a lightsaber.
What's personal shielding?
In Dune, they wear these belts that project like an energy shield that just sort of like is the shape of your body. Basically, it's like a sort of adheres. It's very similar to... it looks really stupid and blocky in the original 80s movie. But
Frank Herbert.
My visual for it now is like the alteration spells in Skyrim that like shield your body when you cast them, basically. Just provide you with like a ghostly outline, basically, that's just like impenetrable. And what it does in the lore of Dune is the personal shielding can stop. It's like an energy frequency that can stop fast-moving things going at a high velocity, so it works on like bullets and like energy projectile type weapons. But it isn't like if an object is traveling slower than that, like a thrust knife, it won't stop it. So everyone fights with swords.
That's
and
cool.
Knives. It is cool. It was a good idea.
Non-Newtonian goop field.
Yeah.
Everybody just they got their cornstarch and their water and they're ready to go. It's time to stab each other.
I periodically get urges to play this game called Gauntlet: Dark Legacy.
Oh yeah, you've been playing that.
Well, I've constantly been getting the urge to play it, and it's like an arcade game that's really long, and like Taylor doesn't want to play it with me.
What? Who told you? You never asked me once.
I did play it with you once a couple of years ago with our old roommate.
Yeah,
and
wasn't that the shitty N64 version that
no,
sucked?
Gauntlet
No,
Dark
it
Legends?
totally was. It was totally the N64 version that sucked ass.
Gauntlet
I don't have
Legends?
the N64 version.
Did. I mean, censor that name.
No, it was always my GameCube version.
Really?
Yeah, your names are still on there. She was rad and you were ass.
Wow. Well, I guess I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
Huh. Well, you also got to keep in mind, I was in a really bad spot during that time. So, like, that whole
I don't blame
my life.
I mean, I don't blame you for having taste. It's not like it's some excellent game that everybody's missing. It's a port of an arcade game.
It's probably just a nostalgic thing for you.
Yeah, it's mostly nostalgia. But anyway, I've been playing it with Jen, and we've been having fun with it. And we like keep picking up all these like power-up items, but we're at the very beginning of the game, so it's not hard yet, so we don't really need them. So we're just kind of stocking them. And I realized that inside like the hub world, you can turn all those items on and it doesn't degrade them.
Oh.
So like I turned on invisibility, floating, levitation, speed, flaming weapon, 3-shot, rapid shot, just all this shit. And I'm like glowing. I've got a halo. I've got wings, and I'm just shooting fire out of all my weapons. Just, I am a god. Take this, Sumner.
When you blow all your meta magic points in one turn.
Yeah.
It's stupid and funny.
Also,
Stuff like that's great in games.
yeah. And that game has a whole bunch of like secret characters where if you name yourself something specific, instead of playing as like Red Warrior, you'll play as Rat. So
What does the rat shoot out of it at enemies?
it's just like a reskin of a warrior.
So he just shoots the same battle axes?
He's got an axe. He's like a rat man. He's rat.
He's a Redwall character?
He's rat as hell.
He's rat as hell.
So
He's Clooney the Scourge?
we've just been playing as Jen, the green sorcerer, and Rat 333, the rat.
That's really funny.
Ratman.
I love the 333.
Yeah, that's part of the code. It's got to be Rat 333.
That's so fucking funny. God, games are great. Oh, that's really funny.
I'm like, Jen, I'm going to change my name again. I'm going to be Rat 333. My new gender is Rat.
Rat self.
Yeah.
That's your pronoun there.
My pronouns are rat.
You be ratting it up.
Speaking of rat, I was sitting on the floor
Oh, you
earlier
didn't
today.
see another vermin in our house, did you?
No, I didn't. I just like the inappropriate segues.
Oh, okay.
I, like, for some reason, on the weekends, my sleep schedule is, like, trying to force itself to not be night shift. Mm-hmm. So I'll get, like, really tired when the human body is supposed to get tired, even though I've only been awake for, like, 6 hours. Mm-hmm. And I, like, have to take a nap, so then when I want to go to sleep in the morning and wake up in the evening...
You're wired as fuck.
Yeah. So... I like passed out at 5 a.m., woke up at 10:30, and could not get back to sleep. So I was just like, I want to do enrichment activity. So I sat on the floor in the kitchen and played with the magnets on our fridge, because we have like all these shapes with, some of them have eyeballs, so you can make little monsters out of them.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
And I just sat there for a while, and it was like, it's fun on the floor. I'm going to look at the stains.
Sit at home and count the stains.
It was fun. Yeah, there's one up on the underside of the door to the freezer. Like, how do you get like spaghetti splashing up on the underside of the door? I don't get it. I don't understand the placement of any of these stains.
I've encountered some weird stains before.
Riveting talk here.
Riveting talk
Please
here.
go on.
It's kind of the end of that story, because I was doing something where it was atypical of me to do. It's like a sort of a thing. It's like, why would you do that? But it's just, I was laying on the floor at our apartment. Yeah. And it's just because I was like tired, and I was probably like sitting on the floor petting Pumpkin, and I was like, I'm gonna stretch out. And so I did, and then I was just like laying on my back on the floor, and I looked up at the underside of the counter, and there was like something up there, and I was like, why the fuck is that up there? A weird mark. Like, how did that get there? And I never would have known that if I hadn't decided to lay on the floor and look at it.
Yep.
So lay on your floor, kids. You'll never know what wonders you may find.
Find all the magic nose goblins that you leave under the kitchen table.
I was reading some like random post somewhere talking about how like, you know how sometimes you're just bored and like you're on your phone and you open the Reddit app and you look at some things and get bored and then close it, and then you open the Reddit app.
Yeah, you just do the same shit over and over. It's the human equivalent of like a tiger pacing in its cage.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. And sometimes you just have to provide yourself a pumpkin filled with raw hamburger meat, so you can knock it around and try to get the stuff out as a treat. And sometimes sitting on the floor in your kitchen and staring at stains is the equivalent of a raw pumpkin filled with meat, because that's what your life is degraded to.
I have a pumpkin filled with meat.
It's true. We call that emergency rations.
And I love how there was some guy who was going on Bill Maher all the time talking about the coming economy, collapse and the collapse of civilization, and
you mean now?
Yeah, and like the money won't mean anything, and it'll be everyone for themselves. And he was like, "You'll be eating your pets," and that's what he kept telling everybody. Like, "You'll be eating your pets," and I'm like, first off,
that's one meal.
Well, I was like, people who keep saying you'll be eating your pets, woefully underestimate, number one, how much I love my cat. Number two, how much I hate other people. And number three, how readily I will transition to murder, robbery, and cannibalism. I can barely keep those impulses in check now.
Yeah, because like you kill a man, that's like a week's worth of food.
Yeah.
You teach a man.
Think of how long Taylor would last me
That would be weeks
if I were
and
to turn
weeks.
him into food.
I
That would
don't know
be.
if I was wearing a CC shirt, I'd be gone in an afternoon.
You would. It would take so much willpower to not devour you whole.
You're getting hungry and it's like those Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yeah.
You look over and he's just Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs with a CC's t-shirt on. What's the saying? Give a man a fire and he'll be warm for now, but set a man on fire and he'll be warm for the rest of his life.
Hey! Coat a man in cheese and he'll be dairy.
To round us out, though, I did want to go back to what I said about succinctly summarizing what other content creators do. Mm-hmm. And this is a couple weeks old at this point, but I want to talk about something that Super Mega did that was really, really fucking funny. Mm-hmm. And this is actually a couple weeks old at this point, but they just released a video where it was Matt and their other guy, who I think his name is Tucker. And they're just like at their whatever house or apartment that they record at. And they're like, all right, so Ryan's coming over in a minute. And, he's on his way. And we have a surprise for him. And they have like all these bags of carry out. And he's like, we got him a bunch of bubblegum shrimp. And like that's his favorite is bubblegum shrimp. And like he always wants to order food before we record it. So we got him a surprise. It's his favorite food. And we're going to record his reaction when he comes in and sees it. We got him his favorite stuff. He's going to be so happy. And they're like, you hear like a car door outside. He's like, oh, he's here. And like you see him like walking in, up the driveway. He comes in. He's like, hey guys, what's going on? He's like, come in, buddy. Come on in. And they're like, take a look, man. He's like, oh, sweet. And then they like give him the shrimp, and he's just like, all right, cool. And he's like, his reaction is not overwhelming at all. He's just like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then like they show a replay of him doing the same like, all right. And then Matt's like, that could not have gone any better. Did you see his face? So stupid. But it really got me.
Bubblegum shrimp.
It's carry out, like it's a real restaurant. It's named after the Forrest Gump thing.
Well, I knew it was at King's Dominion.
Yeah, that's the one I know about.
Yeah.
I think they sell it elsewhere now. Like they have a few franchises here and there.
They're the White Castle of
seafood.
Seafood. Which I guess means twice the food poisoning as you'd get at White Castle.
Did I ever tell the story? It's a very quick story about when we went through the drive-thru late at night at Taco Bell, and Lissa was driving because she usually is because her car has AC, and I wanted a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't think that sounded like a real food item, and for whatever reason it just like set her off. And she just was losing her shit so bad she couldn't even say Crunchwrap Supreme. And she was like, I'm sorry to like the drive-thru guy. She like couldn't say it. And I was like, it's great. It's like right there on the fucking, you don't believe me that it's a real item. It's right there on the menu. Crunchwrap Supreme. Like, it didn't sound like a real thing. And I was like, that guy probably thought you were high as a goddamn kite. Because it was like 10:30 at night when we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah.
Speaking of Crunchwraps, it's time to crunch wrap this up.
Okay.
Any last words?
Taylor, say something traumatizing that happened to you in your childhood.
When I was young, I looked in the mirror and I saw myself.
God, what a nightmare.
Good night, everybody.
When I was young, I looked in the mirror and I saw Taylor.
God, what a nightmare.
That's horrifying. Jesus Christ, Ada.
I don't know how I recovered.
Self-loathing.
Now even you know I am a menace. I hand you the secrets to save the entire human race and the entire universe.